Today, we will delve into the creation of a chatbot fueled by Gemini AI. Before we dive into the construction process, let's explore its capabilities. Here we can use the /start command and the bot will answer us with a specific message that says, "Hello there, I'm Gemini, your friendly chatbot," and so on. By using this chatbot, we can write two specific commands that are the /chat and the /image, and that we will see in a moment. So let's use the /chat command. This will initiate a chat with the chatbot. So we can say, "Hello, my name is Alessio." The bot will think about the response and he will give us an answer in a short while. So, "Nice to meet you, Alessio. My name is Gemini. I'm a conversational AI," and so on. One specific fact about this chatbot is that he can remember past past information that we shared to him. For example, if we say, "What was my name?" What was my name? He will think about the response and says, "Your name is Alessio. You told me this when we first started chatting," and so on. So this is one of the things that the bot can do. Now let's stop and reset the conversation. So we will use the /image command. Now the bot asks us to send him an image and he'll tell what is shown inside. So let's take a photo that are inside this folder. For example, this flower. Let's open it and send to the chatbot. Yeah, so he received the photo and is thinking about the response. And says the image shows a red rose. Let's use, for example, another command of the /image and select a different image that is a very beautiful sunset. So let's see what the bot will answer us. He's thinking about the response. And the bot says the image shows a sunset over the ocean. The sun is setting in the west and the sky is a gradient of orange, pink, and purple, and so on. So these are all the capabilities of the chatbot that we will construct in a moment. Now let's delve into the code that powers our chatbot. To begin, we import the essential libraries that form the backbone of our bot. Here, Teleton plays a pivotal role in instantiating the bot client, essentially bringing our chatbot to life. Additionally, async I/O is harnessed to seamlessly handle coroutines that we will be used to actually build the chatbot. Now, as we progress, we will also utilize the powerful capabilities of Vertex AI, specifically the Gemini text and vision model, as you can see here in this part of the code. In preparation for interacting with the Gemini vision model specifically, we imported bytes I/O and image from the library Peel. These components play a crucial role in managing the bytes and images that we will be sending to the Gemini model for analysis. Now, lastly, let's talk about the config file. This local file that is actually here serves as a repository for all the necessary information required to initiate the client and the AI models. The next step is to create an object called the generation config. This is a container holding essential parameters for the Gemini Vertex AI module. This object sets the stage for the seamless integration of text and image processing capabilities. A pivotal step in our setup involves initializing the Vertex AI project right here. This involves specifying the crucial details such as the project ID and location, laying the foundation for a robust interaction with the Gemini module. Next on our agenda is the initialization of the Gemini Pro and the Gemini Pro Vision model, right here. These models specialize in handling text, of course, and image data, respectively. The final piece of our puzzle involves actually starting the client right here by specifying the session name, the API ID, and the API hash that are all written inside the config file that we saw earlier. Now we call this .start method by specifying the bot token that is of course already inside our config file. Lastly, we declare a keyboard that we will use in a short while that can stop and reset the conversation. And of course, inside our main function, we just called the run until disconnected method to actually start the bot until, of course, it's disconnected to our client. So the bot will actually start. Let's write our first command, that is the /start. Here we says that the client, when the client receives a message, a new message that starts by the /start command, this async function called handle start event is actually being called. And so inside the function, we initialize a text that says, hello there, I'm Gemini, your friendly chatbot, and so on. So of course, this is the same message that we saw in the previous part of our video. So we actually initialize the text and we just call the send message method on our client by specifying the sender ID, that of course is the ID of the users that interacts with the chatbot, and also specifying the text that we have defined above. And this very simple code will just tell the bot to send a specific message to the user. Before we dive into the creation of our two main commands, let's write an asynchronous function called sendQuestion and retrieve result by specifying as a parameter the prompt, that is just a string, the conversation with a user, that we will be defining that in a moment, and the keyboard that will always be our stop and reset conversation button. Now, the first thing that we're going to do inside this function is to send a message. This message will be used a prompt that will always be our I'm thinking about the response. So the chatbot will think about the response and then will give us some information. Now, the function then sets up two asynchronous tasks. The first one is called task 1, and it waits for a callback query event, which typically occurs when a user taps a button. The task 2, otherwise, waits for a general response from the user. So if it is a text or, for example, is a simple image. Now, the asyncio.wait function is used to wait for either task 1 or task 2 to complete. So it waits until either the user taps a button, that is this of course callback query, or provide a general response. Once either task completes, the function retrieves the final result of the completed coroutine, and if the result is a callback query, right here, then it returns none. Of course, the function returns none. Otherwise, it returns a user general response that is, of course, result. We are now going to write the /chat command. Here, we define an asynchronous function called handle chat command that takes the event, so the users send a message to the chatbot. It's stored inside the event parameter. We define a function called getChatResponse that takes into consideration the chat, that of course is the type chat session, that is specifically from Vertex AI, and the prompt, that is of course a string, and this function returns a string. So we we send the message to the chat, to the Vertex AI chat, by specifying the prompt string, and we just return the response text. We then get the sender ID that we will be used to actually send the response message to the user, and we start the conversation. Here we await the event.getChat method. We says that the exclusive must be true, so the user must stay in one conversation at a time, and then we set the timeout, that is 600 seconds. So after 600 seconds, the conversation will automatically be stopped. And of course, this conversation is stored as conv variable. Inside this code, we get the model.start chat, of course, always from Vertex AI, and we define this chat inside the chat variable. We then define an infinite loop because we will stop this loop if the user taps the stops and reset conversation button. And then inside this infinite loop, we call the send question and retrieve result function that we have defined above. That of course is here. We had a look to this function in the previous part of the video. Now, if you remember, this user input is either the user has tapped a button, so he just wants to stop the conversation, or the user or the user did something. For example, send an image to the chat or send a text, a response to the chatbot. So if the user input is none, this means here that the user have clicked the stop button. So we just say that the conversation will be reset, type /chat to start a new one. We send this message, of course, to the chat, and then we just break the infinite loop. Otherwise, we get the text of the message that was sent by the user, and we force the chatbot to think about the response by sending the received "I'm thinking about the response." And here we call the getChat response, that is of course defined inside this async function. So this message, this prompt, will be sent to the Vertex AI module, and of course a response will be generated. So we return the text of the response. We then delete the thinking message that was this received "I'm thinking about the response," and lastly send the response to the user. So the user inside the chat will actually see the message that was generated by the Vertex AI module. Here, in this try except function, we define that if the conversation goes in timeout error, we then send the message "conversation ended, it's been too long since your last response." If the user is already in a conversation, we do nothing, so we just pass. And if something wrong happens inside the conversation, so a general exception, we just say that the conversation ended, something went wrong. The last command that we will have a look is the /image. Here inside this asynchronous function called handle image command, we do the same things that we did before. So we just start the conversation with the user, we wait for the user input, even if it's the user has tapped the stop conversation button or the user sends an image. And this part of the code is what actually matters in this specific function, because if the user input is a photo, so the photo is inside the photo object is inside the user input, we then send the received "I'm thinking about the response" message to the user, and then we get the photo entity that was sent by the user. Things that we need to do is to download the image that was sent by the user inside a local folder called images, that is of course here inside our main folder. And then we open that image by of course specifying the path of the folder in the image module, that is a module of the pil library. We then define the empty bytes IO object, and then we save the bytes of the image in the JPEG format inside this image buffer, and then we get the actual bytes of the image by specifying the getValue method. Lastly, we call the generateContent method to our vision model by specifying the part.fromData by also specifying the image bytes and the MIME type, that is image/JPEG. And then we give a default question to the Vertex AI module, that is what is shown in this image, and the Vertex AI model will give us an explanation, and this explanation is inside the response variable, and this response variable, well, the text of the response variable will be used to send a message to the user that will show and will that will show what is the content of the image that was sent by the user. Of course, if we did not send a photo, but we send, for example, a text or a document, then this part of the code will be executed, and that says input not valid, please send me an image after using the /image command. And of course, this function is actually being concluded. And that was all, guys. Thank you for following the video. Leave a like and subscribe. Thank you.